Hey everybody, it's Sabrina Taylor. Hey, creator and host of Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide. So happy to have you guys tuning in tonight. I've got another special guest. Yep, it is Music Monday. And as always, we have some of the best to share with you, people you may not know. And this voice is amazing. And I want you guys, before we start talking about just how amazing he is, I want you to grab your handheld, and I already have mine. I want you to start sharing with everybody. Let them know that we are on. Hey, I want to say hello to those of you who are in YouTube land, those of you who are on Facebook. Thank you so much. It is an honor to actually be here and share my love, which is music. Talk about the artists, their story, their journey, what in the heck they're up to, and what you can expect going forward from them. So, listen, I want to bring on my special guest tonight, Noel.
How you doing?
Hey,
How going?
I'm good. What about yourself?
I'm just loving being alive, loving being able to be creative, and just
I,
released the album today, so I'm excited. Excited to be here with
yeah,
you.
I know. I know. So many exciting things going on with music. And I actually, and not to put a damper on things, but I do want us to honor Sly Stone. He passed today.
Yes, Lord.
Such a phenomenal,
Yes,
phenomenal legend. Our
yes.
luminaries are just kind of saying, I left enough for you to learn.
Right.
Now just do it, right?
And carry it on. That's right.
Carry on
That's right.
and do the work. And so just want to honor him for just that moment. But we are happy to have you here
Well, thank you.
on the platform. Yes, 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 yes. It has been an anticipation all week.
Likewise.
I know. I've seen the posts. You're good. I want to hire you from on my team. Okay,
Really?
because
Because
I have.
I'm just trying to get used to it. I'm trying to do better.
Well, the thing is that I wear so many hats,
Right.
and sometimes the posting can be the most labor intensive part of it.
Hmm.
Still relevant, but it takes time from the day. And so I just, as I would go through posting for other clients, I would see your post. I was like, he is on it.
It's truly a full-time job. It really is.
It
It,
is.
it's an all-day type thing. So I just try to take out a little bit of time here and there, and
Yeah.
share some love and make people, try to open up some eyes. That's all.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so glad that you did. Um, I am going to let you start chatting
Mhm.
a little bit about your history. Tell us how you got started in the industry.
Wow. Well, it started in New England. I'm originally from Brockton, Massachusetts. It's known as the City of Champions. It's where marvelous Marvin Hagler and Rocky Marciano is from. A lot of other people, Al Davis, that was known for running the Raiders back in the day. It's a city of fighters, champions. So we get knocked down, but we don't stay down. We get back up, dust ourselves off, and start getting right back at it. So I'm
Sure.
from the city of Brockton. My family's from Mississippi, so I got that city hard Southern soul thing. I've always said that. Yeah. So I got
Southern
love for
Belle
the South.
myself. I
Yes,
know.
yes. So I got a love for the South. So I kind of took all of that and kind of put all of that together and mushed it up into a nice gumbo. And it is what you would call Noel Gourdin style. So I got my start really
Yeah.
putting music together back in probably 98, 99.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and started really going after it really hard. It was before that when I started singing
True.
and kind of honing my skills. But I'm a Virgo, so I'm a kind of a perfectionist. So I kind of
Uh-oh.
dove into hiding back in the day, and people
Did
didn't
you?
know what I was doing until I was ready for them to know what I was doing.
Were you
Um,
singing as a kid or d
I was. I loved music. I mean, riding in the car with my pops, it was kind of hard to avoid. You know, he had those Maxell tapes full to the brim with all soul music,
oh,
and
you're taking us way back,
yeah.
man.
So that was what that's how I grew up listening to music and all the old soul music, and
Sure.
that's where I got that. That pretty much put me through school. You know,
Really?
listening to all of that. Yeah.
So what about in high school? Were you ever in talent shows or
Yes.
and I know church is your foundation,
Hmm.
you know. So were you solo talent or did you have a group for a talent?
I was solo because I was into all of the the dancing and all of that kind of stuff. My
Ah,
brother was part of a crew back in the day, in
okay.
New England and Boston and all of that kind of stuff. So I was always watching him do the break dance and stuff. And then I just always loved music, of course, from hanging with pops.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did do some talent shows, either dancing and singing and all of that kind of stuff, just singing some Marvin Gaye and all of that. So, the teachers were looking at me like this kid a little bit too young to be singing Distant Lover.
But
But
it
yeah,
gets in
but
your soul though,
it really
doesn't it?
does. And that's the
Yeah.
way it was with me when I was little. I was 3, 4, 5 years old, and that music just
Whoa.
took a hold of me. Yeah. So I was memorizing what was coming up on these. Pops had the old classic cars, so he had the Pontiac Granville, so he had the old tapes and all of that kind of stuff, and
Sure.
yeah. So I was memorized all of those albums. I knew what record was coming up next, what record was coming up in the next two songs, all of that kind of stuff. So I memorized a lot of that music, and that's where I got the love for
So we know Marvin Gaye.
it. Hmm.
Who else were some of your like major, major influences as you grew? Because you know they change as you get older.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
but mine pretty much stayed based on what my pops was playing. He was playing Brooke Benton, Tyrone Davis, Johnny Taylor,
Ooh.
of course Sam Cooke. Was playing Jerry Butler, all of
Ah,
that kind of Solomon Burke. All of that music was very influential for me. A lot
wow.
of course, the soul groups and all of that kind of the stylistics, the Drifters. My pop loved the Drifters. So yeah, a lot of those Benny King and all of that. That was
Ooh,
deep,
yeah,
deeply ingrained into me, into my soul.
absolutely. So were there dreams of stardom ever as a kid?
It wasn't so much stardom. It was just making music that I was listening to and making me smile. I wanted to make people in turn smile.
Aw.
So I wasn't even really thinking about, all the
The
stuff that
the
comes with it.
lights and the glitz and glamour.
Right, right, right. No,
Yeah.
I just thought about making music that could, you know, like I was listening to this music when I was years and years after it was made. I wanted somebody else to do that for my music, years
Aw.
and years down the line. So that's initially what it was, and then I just wanted to keep doing it because it makes me feel good. You know what I mean?
Was there I sure do. Was there ever, like, a defining moment in time, whether a child or as a young adult, where, there was something really impactful that was a turning point for you to say, "Okay, all right, yeah, I know I've been listening to music all my life, but this I have to do
Hmm.
because this is the thing that just inspired me so much. I know that I have to do this."
Right.
Mhm.
I would say there was one when I was younger and thinking about. I bought my first Boss DR5 machine, and I
Ah,
would start putting my own beats together and all of that kind of stuff. I didn't have no way to record the stuff. I couldn't afford it really after
sure.
spending money on that machine. So I would get a tape recorder and record vocals on it and then switch it back over to another tape recorder and start harmonizing and all of that kind of stuff.
What?
So
Man.
that was one of those moments. And then another one was later on when we was trying to with myself and my manager at the time and a fella Tommy T.O. Oliveira from Rhode Island, that we was the crew trying to
Yeah.
get this thing happening, and we went out to California to have a meeting with Capitol.
How old were
And
you then? How
I
where
would
were
say about 25, 26.
Oh, you're pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So we was just going at it hard. And the meeting was cool. It was good. They liked what they heard, but when they say they'll call you back and let you know
mm,
what's happening, that's just what it was. So we was
mhm,
getting ready to head back to New England, to Boston, and Mike City was somebody that we was working with, and a lot
sure.
of people, Mike City is he's one of my heroes. He's done so many
Oh,
great records, not just with Carl Thomas and Brandy, but with a whole bunch of other folks. But we was
sure.
talking to him, and he brought us by Can-Am Studios, and a lot of people don't know where Can-Am Studios was. It was in Hollywood, and this
Yep.
was the time when Dr. Dre had it. He was working out of there when he had just started Aftermath.
I got it.
So we
Yeah.
went through there. Mike Lynn was there, which was Dre's right hand man, and met Dre and was talking with him, and he kept us there for about a month making music. And for Dre to do that and to be around him making music and all of that, and him to dig what we was doing, what I was doing as an artist, and how I
Sure.
put things down, that was enough for me to know that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, So that was that vindication moment, like you were talking about, and kind
Yeah.
of that get real moment, like this is for
This
real.
is
So
it.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah.
most of those who are pursuing music, those who are really, really hungry, and this means a lot,
Hmm.
would drop a job at the drop of a dime.
Right.
At
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
And I keep raising my hand because
Yeah.
I'm going somewhere. It's like, and that's the question. So at 25, I know that there were, things in life that you had to take care of,
Hmm.
but were there any days or times that you just kind of walked away from certain jobs because
I
you
did.
knew that was this one of those times
It
when,
was.
yeah.
Because at this time I was playing sports as well in college. So
Oh,
I got
okay.
out of college and I was doing like, theater and music and all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I had a job to just keep things going and doing what I was
Of
doing back home when I left school.
course.
So I had stopped. I just quit. I took a leap. And this was around the time that my folks were leaving up north and heading to
Ah,
down south
got it.
to Alabama. So at this time, I was living from friend to friend, couches, studios,
Oh,
with a little space
how'd that
heater, all of
feel?
that kind of stuff. It
How'd
was
that
it
feel?
was it was
Was it
real.
yeah,
It was real. And
yeah,
this is what I did because I believed in myself, and I got with some folks that believed in me, and we were saying we was going to do this and give it a real hard run
regardless.
and just
Yeah,
go at it
yeah.
wholeheartedly with nothing. We was like, those champion the horse races that got the
They got
blinders on.
blinders on.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was
It
tunnel
was
vision, it was
focused.
focus. Right.
Yeah,
So
laser
sleeping
focused.
on so my man T.O. let me stay in the studio, sleeping in there, and asking all my friends for $1 here and $1 there to get some
Yeah,
eggs and bread. It was real.
yeah.
It was real.
You
And
Noel, that's amazing.
yeah, it was tough, but I don't regret any of it. It's crazy when we got signed by Sony in
Yeah,
2005. Chad
yeah.
Elliott said, "Don't forget these times." I was like, it's been
Can't,
rough, bro. It's been
can't
rough.
forget
You know what I mean?
these.
He was
No,
like,
yeah,
don't forget
that's
this time because you're gonna want this back because it was so black and white. It was
yeah.
just this and go.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
He was right. He
You
was right.
know, I I boy, you're kinda taking me back because I remember one of the and I share this, it depends on what I'm talking about and how passionate. I love this conversation. We're gonna go to break in just a little bit, but one of the opportunities that I had to go to New York to pursue a record deal,
Hmm.
this one was with Sony Records,
Hmm.
okay? So, like you, I had a job. I was in radio. I walked away. I knew those people. I knew
Hmm.
they'd let me come back,
Right.
But I told them, I said, "Look, you gotta find somebody else. Give me some time. I don't know how long I'm gonna be gone." Who
Right.
does that? Today, you'd be gone, they would not let
It's
you
a
back.
leap. It's a
It's
leap.
yeah. But I
Hmm.
remember sleeping on a couch,
Hmm.
and there were roaches crawling around
It's
everywhere.
rough.
It's a tough
Hmm.
thing,
Yeah.
but when you know that you know,
Right.
it doesn't matter if you're sleeping on floors,
Mm-mm.
blow up beds,
Yep.
sleeping with bugs,
Right.
rodents, whatever it is.
It's a
It's
mission.
just a yes,
Hmm. You're on a
Yes.
mission. You're on a mission.
And I don't know if people today are as passionate. I haven't heard this kind of
Yeah.
storyline in a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I have shared that part of my story with people,
Yeah.
only the Sony part.
Yeah.
But, sleeping and you don't know if bugs are crawling in your
You don't
ear.
know what's happening. You
You
just
have no
know that you have a mission that you have to accomplish.
that part.
And there's nothing
Yeah.
that's going to get in the way of that. Us sleeping in cars when we hustle up
Exactly.
enough car money to head to New York and look for
Mm-mm.
deals and all of this we were
Yeah.
sleeping in cars. We was finding a good street to park
Just
on
somewhere
in New York, sleeping in the car and
just to
hustling.
have a few hours to sleep. Just
Yes.
a few.
And this was when $5 footlongs was really $5. So we would
Ah.
stock up on those and put them in the cooler. So we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh my God. I
Yeah,
love
this is real. It's real. And a lot of people don't know that. They think there's a big misconception of how things go, and some
Yeah.
people don't have it that way.
Nope.
Just to be real, some people have it a little bit easier. And
Yeah.
but that was my road. And
Yeah.
like I said, I don't regret one mile of it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, listen, we're going to take that first break that I promised that we were going to take. This is really getting good, and the comments are still coming in. Definitely we'll get to more of those tonight. You guys, I hope you're enjoying our special guest tonight, Noel Gourdin. He's here. Great story. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Definitely there is more to come. So, guys, don't go too far. We'll be back in just a moment on Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide. The Music Note Boutique has returned, offering must-have lifestyle go-tos from Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide. Grab your Black is the New White mug, our 25-ounce hot-cold travel cup, and our classic teas, available in an array of colors. Get your essentials now. Visit us at etsy.com/shop/The Music Note Boutique. Join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to hear the stories of artists you love and discover artists you'll learn to love on Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide via Facebook and YouTube. The expansion continues. You can locate us on 10 affiliate radio stations, rebroadcasting Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide segments around the globe. Come on, join the indie community. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Sabrina Taylor here, creator and host of Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide. Look guys, I did bring on some items. I'm so super uber excited. Noel, you got to give me a moment. I showed you the commercial, but
Yeah.
there's nothing like having it right up front. These are so cool. 25 ounces. And you know what I did? I literally tested it. Sometimes advertisement isn't what it's cracked up to be.
That's
So
true.
I filled up a measuring cup full of liquid. And I said, I'm going to see if it's exactly 25 ounces. And it literally is 25 ounces.
There you go.
Unless you start putting ice in it, that's going to take some of the space away.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you fill with whatever juice or water that you put in it, you may only be able at that point to get about 17-ish ounces. But some people, like my niece, doesn't like ice in her water.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. That's a southern thing. But it's a southern thing to like it cold. But they say it's better room temp. That's what they say.
I don't know, but I like my stuff nice and cold. Definitely got the mugs. For those of you who are coffee, tea drinkers, I'm definitely a tea drinker.
Mm-hmm.
But in mornings, very substantial. Once you guys just kind of see it in my hand. Sometimes, again, advertisement isn't all that's cracked up to be. Very substantial, 16 ounces of coffee. If I could have 20 ounces of coffee,
yeah,
I think it would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool for me. And then last but not least, you guys.
Yeah, that's dope.
There And then the
Yeah,
back,
you're not gonna have those long.
no, and the back says, "Come on,
Yeah, that's pretty
join the
cool.
indie community." I know. So I've got these just basic, and there's more if you want it, like zipper uh, computer covers and just some real cool stuff. Go on to etsy.com/shop/, the music note boutique, and you'll find some really cool stuff there. So
Cool.
anywho, back to our guest. Noel is here. We have had some really great conversation, and I am just loving the moment. You are also a songwriter,
I
yes?
am. Yes.
How do you draw your inspiration?
From literally everything.
Everything?
From life, from learned experience, from my pops telling me stories of when he was young, from my mom telling me stories and the loves that she had and courting and this and that, and um, yeah, and family members. I got enough family members that I could write a book right now, and they would all want a piece of it.
No
But
way!
yeah, but I love movies as well. I'm a film, I love watching films and movies and shows and all of that kind of stuff. So it comes from everywhere and it's every day. So
Really?
yeah. So I got to jot down and then I got to my
Voice
phone.
recorders?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all day
All of
long.
that.
Yep,
Do you
all
ever
day.
have dreams about music? Um,
I do. And
like
sometimes I got to
melodies?
wake up. Yep, I wake up and I put it down. So that's the good thing about, you know, I'll be in the bed with my fiance, should be asleep, and
Yeah,
I have to get up and I have to come downstairs and go to the farthest corner so
of
I don't wake
course.
her up and put it down. So, and
Wow.
that's what's good about having a studio in the house as well. So I can go in there and just do what I need to do and put down the idea, because a lot of times I've missed quite a few ideas and I'm pretty
Oh,
mad about it, but I don't
yeah.
miss any anymore. I'm in the
No.
shower and I set off my recorder, so I don't miss anything anymore.
Because you don't ever know when
Right.
it's going to come.
Hmm.
So, and I keep like a pad sometimes by my bed in case I
Hmm.
get inspired,
Right.
because when I have dreams, they are so real. But if you don't write it down the moment you dream it, you miss some of the key parts
Absolutely.
to it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So writing it down, I think,
You have to.
yeah, is key.
It's essential.
So I there's so much to you. And lately the artists that I had Jay King on last week. So many layers, and I keep telling people, you gotta come back, you gotta come back.
Yeah.
Just trying to get so much in your writing. Definitely of the single that's out now,
Hmm.
collaborating with one of, like, R&B's, I think, highly sought after artist, Kevin Ross.
Hmm.
He's amazing.
Yeah, that's my man. He's
And
he's no
you're
joke.
writing with him. You wrote Might Let You Hit It with him.
Yeah.
How that There were several others too who
Yeah.
had their hands in the writing,
Yeah.
but how did that relationship come to be?
Well, it started, I would say, back, what was it, around 2011, 2012, when I worked on my second album, Fresh to
Sure.
Definition. So I
Yeah.
worked with Kevin on that album, about 3 or 4 records, and our chemistry was just,
There.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
so easy to work with the brother, and and then hanging out in the studio, and then we was just keep talking concept back and forth, and that kind of formulates the story and where we were
Sure.
going, and sometimes we just go off the cuff at the mic, and
Mm.
we just made it work. But he is a bad brother, and
Yes, he is.
yeah, and he started writing. He wasn't even singing at that time. Yeah, he wasn't even
Oh,
singing at that time. Then he started, I was like, bro, what are you
that's
doing? You know what I mean?
that's
Yeah.
crazy. He had a voice then
Oh
because he
yeah.
has it now, but he
Absolutely.
just wanted to write.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of gifts
Hmm.
that I know are out there just in numbers.
Yeah.
They just want to write, or just want to produce,
Hmm.
can sing their butts off,
Yeah. Yeah.
but just choose not to. And
But
then when
Kev,
you hear him, it's like,
yeah, right. But Kev just has an energy to him. He just likes to. He loves
oh,
what we do. He loves
yeah,
this, and
yeah.
and it shows. It shows in everything he does. But with this record, my man Frank CK Oliphant, he hit me up. I had worked with him since being signed to Sony and the first record from the
Yeah,
River. So
yeah.
he hit me up and was like, "Yo, I got this idea. We got this dope record that I think your voice would be stupid on it." And he sent it to me and the idea and the way he writes. I've always loved the way he writes, and so we just started throwing it around, throwing words around, and then he had the idea to hit Kevin up. And I was like, yeah, we can, because I hit him up a couple years ago, but he was, he was in the midst of releasing album. So at that time, and the people, we just get busy. So, but yeah, it just worked out. He was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get it.
So how long were you with Sony?
I was with Sony from 2005 through 9 or 10 for about 5 years.
Wow. So how many products did you put out with them?
We just put out the one album, but I was
Just the
working with
one.
other people and all that
Ah,
kind of stuff
got
too. Yeah.
collaborations.
Right. Right.
Really? And then
Yep.
you went on from there to
To E1.
E1.
Yep. And working with them as well with my man, another cat from New England. I was working with Mark Siskin,
Yeah.
DL at the time.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was there. So we had Shawnee in there too. So we had a project with
Shawnee?
Shawnee.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I just been meeting some really good people and rubbing elbows with folks that are influential, and I've always had a great respect for, and did a lot of events in between, and was working, able to hit the road with a lot of people that I looked up to
Sure.
while coming up and learning how to do this music thing.
So is there an experience that you can share with us? I mean, you, my dear, have had a label experience that some of the independent artists would be like, oh, that's
Yeah.
a blessing,
Yeah.
right? And I'm sure you've taken away some good and bad
Oh, absolutely.
from them. But let's stay on the positive side. What
Mhm.
are some of um, the I'll say gold nuggets. I just
Yeah.
wanted to have the right word that you can pull from being with all of these different labels that you can share with some of your fellow associate independent
Yeah.
artists.
Well,
Yeah.
one would be when Steve Harvey first started championing the river.
Oh,
Um, and
yeah.
he had heard it from my man Cayman Kelly on Sirius,
Oh, yep.
on
Yep.
satellite.
Yeah.
And Cayman's like my big brother. Like we've known each other for
Really?
years and years.
Okay.
That's my man.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was when I was staying in Baltimore.
Got it.
So we was hanging out all the time. But it was that and having that champion thing, and my phone was getting blown up because I had gone back home to hang out with the family for a weekend or so.
Sure.
And my phone had about 99, 100 messages on it, and people talking about, yo, Steve Harvey done hit you hard. He's replaying
Oh,
the record on his show and all that. So that's when it really took a spike. So that's one of them.
yeah.
And then when I was working on the first album on After My Time, working with Raphael Sadiq and
Yeah.
Vidal and Dre, and and Salam Remy, and all of those folks. Man, it was just KG
Did
of
you work
Naughty
with
by Nature.
Jaheim?
I worked with He was around Divine Mill
That
around that time
dude's
with
amazing
KG.
too.
Yeah,
Where is he these
yeah,
days? Oh my God.
yeah, yeah. I saw my man Ja's going through a little some things. So I just want to say
Gotcha.
shout out to Ja, and I hope you're well, brother.
Absolutely.
I hope you're well. Hope
Absolutely.
to see you soon. But yeah,
Absolutely.
him as well. Eddie F. I work with Eddie F.
Oh my God, that's
And
right.
yeah, and Cliff
Ooh,
Lighty and Darren Lighty and Balewa Muhammad. I work with a whole bunch of the Clutch. I
man,
work with the Clutch. I work with a whole bunch of people.
look at that.
And yeah, so I've been blessed to do what I've been doing, and I've learned a lot along the way. And I hope to keep learning more each and every day. So
Yeah.
that's, to the younger artists out there, never stop learning. Sometimes you have to shut your mouth and open your ears and just
That's a
pay
gold
attention.
nugget all
Yeah,
within its
yeah,
because you can't say everything you think.
right.
You can't share everything you see.
Absolutely.
Because in this industry, it's a very small world.
Yes, yes, it is. Very,
You
very
don't know
small.
who you're talking to
Yeah.
and if they are connected.
Hmm.
Oh God, I've had to
It's a funny thing when you say
come
that.
on,
I
share it.
was at I was actually at Steve Harvey's event,
Okay.
and he had the whole thing in Vegas, and his whole event, and artists were there and all, and his award show, the Hoodie Awards. And I was sitting in the front row because I was presenting. And my man Joe, he's one of my idols. He was a seat like removed from me,
Sure,
and the person in between, I was like, "What's up, Jay?" Because I'd done some shows with him on the road,
sure.
and he was like, "What's happening?" So I reached over, give him daps, and I was reaching over Kedar Massenberg. Yeah. So I was like, "Yo," and then I looked at him. I was like, "Kedar, man, I apologize, bro. How you doing, man?"
My
He was
bad.
like, "I'm good, Noel." Just little things like that coming up that
Oh,
I'm much
God.
more aware of my surroundings now. And
Yeah.
a fella like Kedar, he was so cool about it, and but yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah. So did you travel outside of the US?
I have. I've been to the UK.
How do you like it
Um,
there?
it was rainy a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, but the people,
yep.
they
The
love the
experience.
music.
Yeah.
They are there on. If I could say, metaphorically, the
Yeah.
people are on stage with me. They were
Mhm.
all on stage with me. They were with me as far as all the lyrics, everything I was saying. They was there, and yeah, that was amazing. And I've been to Canada as well, to Toronto,
Yeah. Yeah.
in Montreal. Yeah,
Wow. Well, my thing is that when you travel, you get an opportunity to experience a little more than what you would experience in the United States. But
absolutely.
is your following greater than in from the US to the UK? Are they about the same? What do you find with your music?
I wouldn't be surprised if I looked at some numbers and saw that I had a greater following in the UK. I wouldn't be surprised. I do have a lot of love here, and I love that.
Yeah,
But yeah, they just have. It seems like they have a greater respect
I don't
for that R and
understand
B
it.
and soul music and all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's amazing to be there and be on stage because I told you they're right with you. They are
They
right
are
along for the whole ride,
the whole ride.
and
Yeah.
it feels good as an artist, to get that love in return. Um, because it just happens to every artist. You'll be up on stage and not getting any love
Any
back or
love.
any
Yeah.
energy, but the
Yeah.
show goes on. So I've always learned to, I was there when Donnie Ienner was at Sony and Michelle Anthony and KP, yeah,
Ooh,
Quan
yes, some
Prather
oldies.
and yeah,
Yeah.
so all of those people and Chad Elliott. So they always said the show goes on. You keep
Right.
giving that energy because somebody in the back could be feeling you. You know what I mean? So you're
Sure.
performing for them. So
Yeah.
it's just the way I came up in the school that I was brought up in, and what I learned coming up as an artist in this industry. So yeah, I try to give
Wow.
it my all every time I'm on the stage.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of the industry, so are you okay kind of with what's happening with R&B today?
As far
Um,
as like it going in a different direction, kind of.
yeah, it is totally going in a whole
Yeah,
new direction if you
yeah,
want
it
to
is.
be, you know. What are your thoughts though about the current state of R&B?
It's coexistence. Um,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think
Yeah.
a lot of it is sounding the same. A
Mm.
lot of the people at the top, a lot of those records sound the same. I don't know who a lot of these female artists. I can't even tell them apart. Sometimes the tones they're
Are
so
about the
similar.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then it's hard for me to decipher between because it used to be tones for me. It's always been tones for me.
Always. Yeah.
So when I hear a tone, I know a Joe from a Jaheim. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
So I know,
Mhm.
a Stokely from an
Oh
Eric
my god.
Roberson.
That
And, I
stinks.
know, yeah, yeah. So I
A
know Calvin
Stevie Wonder
Richardson
from
from, yeah, so all
yeah.
of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's all about tone for me. And that's how I came up trying to, hit hard notes and get the raspy, or I can do it clean, or, I can hit the falsetto, make it
Yes, you
dirty,
can go in
or
your
keep
head
it
and get
clean
it.
like a
Yeah.
stylistics, or make it dirty like a Philip Bailey. You know what I mean? So
No, not dirty.
yeah,
I
that's that
love it.
crunchy,
I
just
know.
real feeling. So
Yes.
that's the school I
Yeah.
was brought up in, and I try
Sure.
to make my tone ring through in
Yeah.
everything that I do. So to me, it's all about tone. But
Mhm.
today's industry, I don't know, it's a lot of that twangy sound. You know what I mean? But we all have to coexist. It's just the way it's been. And
So
the show goes on.
it doesn't seem to be a lot of mm, the
Hmm.
identifiers to me,
Right.
and this is just my own subjective
Hmm.
observation.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're showing so much skin to be
Hmm.
noticed.
Right.
And I would think that by now, either you know what the skin kind of looks like. Maybe
Yeah.
mine might not be shaped like yours, but all
Hmm.
skin is skin.
Right.
All
Yeah.
blood bleeds red, so to
Yep.
speak. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? And so we're trying to be uniquely different, but we're doing the same things to
Same
get different.
things.
But that's the definition of insanity.
Hmm. To me, if they see that it works, they're going to continue to do it. And then it becomes the conveyor belt. Then everybody's jumping on the conveyor belt, laying down,
You
just
know,
sliding right through.
just every
You know what I
do
mean? Yeah.
you know what? That's amazing because Jay King and I talked about, well, I brought it up to him that it's like a herd of cattle for
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
All are going in the same direction
Right.
because apparently it's all working. Just
Hmm.
like you're saying, but in a
Right.
different way on the conveyor belt. They're just
Yep.
all sliding along
Yep.
because it seemingly is working.
Right.
But I want to see somebody do something different,
Hmm.
Noel.
Yeah. And I
And I
think that's
wonder,
what you're highlighting.
it is
Artists like, like
like you,
myself. Yeah.
uh-huh.
And trying to do something that's genuine
Wholesome, genuine,
and something that we believe in. We still believe that this music, the way we
the
do it,
R&B.
is
That part.
what can reign true and still have people come out to check us out
And fill a
and
house.
tune in and fill a
Mhm.
house and make people laugh, cry, smile, get up and dance, all
The
of that kind of stuff. So
emotions.
that's
Yeah.
what you're doing. And a lot of other folks. So
Oh, yeah.
from a bunch of artists like myself, we salute you and thank you for doing something like this because
Yeah.
I know it's not easy.
It
And
is not.
things time consuming nowadays, and life gets in the way of a lot of things. But
Yeah.
you persevere, and you've been doing it. So that's what we got to do.
I
That's
put
right.
my
Focus.
put the blinders on,
That's
man.
right.
And I just maintain focus and I thumb through a lot of
Oh
artists.
yeah,
And a
absolutely.
lot of their lyrics, they start out good.
Hmm.
And I can't really put some people on because they're saying the F word
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
calling women, the B
yeah. Yeah,
word
right.
or and I just I have never and will never respect that.
Yeah,
I
right,
know it's creative, your ability to be creative, and
right,
that's fine.
right.
But um I just I can't
Hmm.
let my standard down
Absolutely.
in order to accept something uh, like that. It just
Yeah.
doesn't
And
work.
your followers, your fans, your supporters, they expect a certain level of excellence from you, and you continue to give it to them. It's crazy. One of my records, one of my latest singles, it's like the um, a Southern Soul Blues record that I just
Mhm.
released, New Walk, New Talk. And
Yeah.
there's one swear in there, and I don't deserve this, right?
No, but that's not the
But
same.
check it, I didn't even think about it, right? So when we were sending these records out to radio and all of that, somebody hit me up and was like, "Noel, can I get that clean version?" I was like, "Clean version," and I was
You
like,
forgot?
"Oh, yeah," because
Oops, my
I
bad.
don't never
Right. No, I
use,
get it.
yeah, never.
Yeah.
But I just thought that this, and then I sent it, to my people, and they got on it and did the
Cool.
engineering thing on it. But
Cool.
I just thought that was funny. I was like, "What clean version? What do you mean?"
I don't
Yeah, it was the essays word that I said I don't
like
deserve this. Yeah, but
oops,
I
sorry.
thought that was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. Well, but I love but in all of it, even, looking through it all, there are some very, very, very talented creatives that are out here.
Amazing.
And sometimes I just have to bypass them because, the content isn't
Right.
for the format.
Hmm.
But, whatever
Yeah. Right.
you do it, until, you can't anymore. But
And do it with conviction. Yeah.
that part,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, listen, we're going to take the last break of the night. I know we went over a little bit, but when the conversation gets this good, I don't like to interfere with the flow of the authenticity
I can dig it.
of conversation. So, you guys, listen, don't go away. We'll be back right after this last break right here on Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide. Join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to hear the stories of artists you love and discover artists you'll learn to love on Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide via Facebook and YouTube. The expansion continues. You can locate us on 10 affiliate radio stations, rebroadcasting Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide segments around the globe. Come on, join the indie community. The Music Note Boutique has returned, offering must-have lifestyle go-tos from Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide. Grab your Black is the New White mug, our 25-ounce hot-cold travel cup, and our classic teas, available in an array of colors. Get your essentials now. Visit us at etsy.com/shop/The Music Note Boutique. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's like almost
Yeah.
time to say goodbye. I mean, no. Oh, this conversation has been so very, very good. Our special guest tonight is Noel Gourdin. You've been around for quite a while.
Mhm.
What is it that contributes to that, you think, to your longevity in the business?
I would say it's just a desire to continue to make music that matters and that people can use and hold on to,
Yeah,
use as a crutch if they need to.
sure.
Um, even if it can rattle up some old memories of a love lost or some, something. I just love to be able to make music that matters and people can use and hold on to and enjoy.
Yeah.
Because I know the music that I enjoy from growing up with my pops and all of that. And, it's in turn, like we spoke about before, I just want to give that to other folks and hopefully it can stand the test of time, put it in a little time capsule and it can live on.
Oh no. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I want to talk a little bit more about you've got kind of like two current singles
Hmm.
that are out there and we did kind of chat about now so new walk new talk, we're not gonna premiere it, we're gonna premiere it, might let you hit it.
Hmm.
So but I do want to ask you about some of the writers in that. Now I know and
Hmm.
might let you hit it, we talk about your collab with
Hmm.
Kevin Ross.
Yeah.
What inspired that song?
I just thought it was fun. It was a fun kind of reversal of roles
Yeah,
because a lot of the times
it is.
it's yeah. So it's not the fella that's showing up or trying to coax to so it's usually the fella, but
Yep.
it's usually not the female. So I just thought it was a fun reversal of roles in a sense, and not saying it has to be that way. I'm not
No, no, I get it.
sexist, but
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but for me, the way I've always written and told stories and all that kind of stuff, it to me it was a fun like a change of reversal of roles. So and it was fun and it had like an old classic feel to the music. Shout out to Said Solo on the production.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, like I said, Frank CK Oliphant, he had a great idea, and we've been
Oh,
working with each other for a long, long time. So it's kind of come full circle that I worked with him on my first album, and
right.
now on my latest album, I've done it again. So I also worked with him with CK and Said Solo on another record on the album, Mike Can't Change.
Uh,
So, but yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot more of it because we just have a chemistry that we used to work. We used to be up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning
yeah.
working with each other
Yeah.
back in the day. So yeah, it was just a fun record to put out, and I think a lot of people are really digging it by gauging by the requests and all of that kind of stuff. So
Exactly.
yeah, and to
Oh,
have my man Kevin Ross on it was just a bonus.
my God, yes. So, you're on the Urban Influencer Music Group right now.
Hmm.
Man, you've gone from
Yeah.
all, levels. And I
Right.
know it's an independent
Hmm.
label. How long have you been with them now?
It's been about a year and a half, 2 years now. Yeah, with Marvin Mack.
Yep.
He was working. He actually worked the River, the first record.
Did
It
he?
was Charlie Walk at the
Yeah.
time because Charlie Walk had taken over Sony, well, Columbia, and where he was at, where I
Sure.
was signed at
Right.
the time. And Charlie asked Marvin what record he wanted to work. So he said, "What's this?" It was the River that he wanted to work. So then,
Oh.
years down the line, he was still working out records at radio because he's a radio guy.
Yep.
And he just had that insight, and I like that. And he's always been a go-getter, and
Yep.
him, he's tireless. He doesn't stop.
The
He's like a
inner
wind-up. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I know, man. Jeez, he
Yeah,
never
yeah.
stops.
Never stops. He's kind of
No,
slowed down now. Now that he has a baby.
a
He
little
has a
girl.
daughter now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now he's like, I know what you was talking about, spending time with your family back in the day. I was like, yeah, I always took time out. I would just, sign off, and I was
Yep.
with my family. You know what I'm
You have
saying? And
to.
now he
You have
knows.
to. Yeah.
And it's funny when he said that
Oh.
realization that he had. But yeah, I've just been with him for a while, and he understands and has been teaching me a lot about the game, because the game is ever evolving, as you know.
Ever. Yep.
And that's the reason why we held on to the complete album, and just started putting out singles,
Singles. Hmm.
because he knew that the climate of the industry had
It's
changed
about
and
to
shifted.
change. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's ever shifting. So uh,
Ever.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I've been learning a lot and trying to pick up as much as I can from
Do
him
that.
and his
Yeah.
team, and just learning. I
Glean.
just try to learn every single day,
Yep.
while
Glean.
being
Yep.
while being creative and having fun what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So Back to Basics Volume 1.
Hmm.
That's the new album.
Yeah.
And did you say it just dropped today?
It did today.
It was
I had submitted it. It was supposed to be out before the end of May, before
right.
June dropped, but there was some flags and some credit
Gotcha.
things that we had to take care of.
Of course.
But it just got cleared up, and I just found out about it. So
It is down.
yeah.
Do you know one of my favorites is actually Back to Basics? That
Yeah.
is that on there of
Yeah.
all the songs. I know you've got about 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite song.
It's just a vibe. That for
It's
me
a
was almost like a
70s
James Brown.
vibe.
It was a
Yeah.
James Brown feel for me.
Jeez. I
That
love that.
record,
Mhm.
the bulk of the album was done by Lorenzo Johnson, Kenita Rogers, and Marquise Green. They, producers and writers that we've done a bulk of this project.
Sure.
And Lorenzo sent me that record, and Kenita touched it, and they are just, that record just feels so good. And Marquise Green actually had the initial idea of that, and we just took it from there. It took off.
Man.
And yeah, but it feels so good. You know what they started out as, Sabrina? That was an intro. It was just an intro.
Okay. I am blown away, because let me tell you something. My artist now has an interlude on his CD. It's not out yet. It's coming out.
Yeah.
And I heard that, and I said, you got to turn this into a song. Because it's only
Absolutely.
like a minute and 12 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, but it's not a song. It is amazing how some of these interludes can just be
it takes on a life of its own. Yeah.
Yes.
And it comes from this small, and it grows. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I've got some people co-signing on that song, and they're saying the same thing. And I actually let Marvin Mack hear it. He's like, dude, what you waiting on? Well,
yeah.
This is it. This is the vibe. He's
so
like,
got it.
I gotta go back in the studio. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the wonderful thing about music.
I love it.
Yeah. But Back to Basics, that started off as an intro. And I've always, I don't know, I have these little things about me. It might be an idiosyncrasy, but I always say I want people to replay a record if they feel it. So I take a lot of care all the way from the beginning intro to the outro.
Yeah.
Because when I was young, I used to turn up all those records when it was outro and
too?
hear the notes. And, you know what I mean?
I've
done it. So I did it so many times. My pop slapped me on the head because the next record would come in and you know what I mean? But I would do that. And I just love to hear how they did outros and all of that kind of stuff.
Too.
So that was what I wanted people to do with that. The intro was want to hear it again. And it makes me feel so good to know that that's one of your favorites that you love the intro.
Sir,
So
back
yeah,
to basics.
yeah.
That is the jush.
I
Okay.
appreciate it.
It really, really is. For
Appreciate
me,
it. Yeah. See
on
y'all,
that
it worked. I told you.
see, I promise you I'm gonna channel Cookie Lions yet. Um, in that my ear, I've always had an ear
Mhm.
from my days in radio
Right.
as as an
And not
assistant,
everybody does.
but it won't leave me alone. It
Right.
just keeps
Oh
haunting
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah.
And when I hear great music, it's like I can't let it go. I can't
Mhm.
let it go. Sorry, I can't let go.
Yeah.
And so back to basics, I
You
was
ever
like,
be with people and listening to music and you pick out like the bass line and they're like,
yes,
I can't
it's like
hear that.
the bass is the first thing that I go for.
That's to me, that's what's pushed soul music to me. Because you could
That
drop the
part,
drums and the
that
bass
part.
would
Oh,
still hit. It would still hit
jeez,
every
man.
yeah. It'll still have you like this, the bass line. Yeah,
See,
that's what I believe.
yeah. Well, I feel that on the After Sevens, Ready or Not,
Hmm.
when
Oh
you
yeah,
hear it, it's the bass line for
yeah.
me.
Because
I
most of
mean,
those
the
bass lines
voices
were
are
walking.
okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, and I just lose myself in the music. Yeah, the
Hmm.
vocals are
Yeah, yeah,
they're good,
yeah. But you could pick
but
out certain
you
things
can
that
pick
just
out the rhythm,
yeah, that
and
carry a record. Yeah.
it takes you away.
Hmm.
And that is what's happening with Back to Basics. And I just love the song. But even though I love the song, you guys got to go to Spotify,
Hmm.
do,
Yes,
download,
please.
and actually, that's the title track
Hmm.
to this CD,
It
Back
is.
to Basics Volume 1, but the song is called Back to Basics.
Yep.
That you got to go and listen to. But tonight, we're going to premiere Might Let You Hit It.
Yes.
We've got we've got a music visualizer, so you guys will you'll see motion. Won't be a lot of additional visual, but it I think it's very cool how you did that,
Thank
uh,
you.
Noel.
CK put that together. CK.
Okay,
So shout out to CK for putting that together.
thank you,
Cool.
CK. I appreciate that so very much. Well, you guys, listen. We're gonna take a listen, and when we come back, we're gonna chat just a little bit more about it. And then our time will be up. And so
Mm.
I'm going to dry my eyes while I'm back at the house because I don't want it to be over.
I know me
So
neither.
good, so good. But you guys enjoy. Might Let You Hit It by our special guest over there, Noel Gourdin.
Come on. She bought a 3-pack of Red Bull and copped a room. Told me meet her at the W. Told the valet to look out cause I'm on my way. I'll be in the old school Chevrolet. Ooh, the drop top that's hanging in the rear view. Blue antique plates on the old school. For my conversation. Told me hurry baby, don't keep me waiting. If you play your cards right, keep your game tight. You might get lucky tonight. You see, I normally don't do this, baby, but I just might let you.
Baby, take it easy. Your body calling, but I wanna keep screaming. Keep on that little umbrella, baby, hit the lights. Put that love in the middle, girl, I can't miss tonight. I may not be Mr. Right, but right now, baby, I just wanna give a chance for you.
Cards right, keep your game tight. You might get lucky tonight. Ooh, I know I normally don't do this, baby, but I just might let you. Giving yourself to baby. Said I normally don't do this, baby. Said I normally don't do this, baby, but I just might let you.
Love the song.
Yeah.
Do you know what is so amazing to me is it's really capturing the the reality of the era where songs were like 3 minutes and
Hmm.
such.
Yeah.
Or do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not looking at almost a 5 minutes,
5 minute.
listening to
Yeah.
almost a 5 minute
Right.
song anymore. Your
Hmm.
total album is like 39 minutes
Hmm.
ish. Man,
Yeah. It's a
what?
ride. It's a riding record.
11
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
you know, it's crazy. It was really supposed to be an EP, but we were putting it, we was doing the single release type of thing. And I just kept working.
Yep.
And I was like, we can't just put out there. And I have these other records. We got to put them out because I have even more that I'm working on now.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm glad it's out around, 11 records in 40 minutes in runtime. So
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
I think that is perfect. That's a perfect number.
Yeah,
So, out at radio?
absolutely.
Yeah.
At
So what's the
radio,
status?
yeah.
What does radio say?
They're loving it. They're absolutely loving it, and we're picking up more spins every week, so
Every
it feels
week.
good. Yeah, so that bullet in a sense, so it feels good. And
Mm.
being able to just continue to do what I'm doing and rub elbows with the people that I'm rubbing with, and looking to continue to work with more people. Kanye Doss and I have a record that we
Oh,
got coming. We got
she
Hill
is
Street Soul,
amazing.
Mesa. I'm working with
Mesa
Cy
is
Smith.
Sai is
Yeah.
man.
So we're working. And I got some Southern Soul stuff coming too, Sabrina.
Look at you.
I won't mention the names that I got. I got some trail ride stuff happening right now.
I'm not fooling with you tonight, okay?
Putting together a dance, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, a dance.
Yeah.
Not like the boots on the ground kind of stuff, is it? Okay.
I'm trying to make it happen for the summer. We need
and you
yeah.
can make that happen.
Yeah, trying to do it. So it's already working on it, and my man that I sent it to, who is prominent and knows what he's doing in that area, is working on his part right now. So we're making it happen.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Yeah.
Exactly. And speaking of which, what's coming up next for you?
I am also trying to get into the acting realm. So I have some directors calls coming up this week as well.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that, some voiceover stuff I'm getting into while just being creative and still writing and working with other artists and doing what I love to do. This is I get so excited about this. I get up in the morning, I either get my coffee or my tea, like you was talking about earlier.
That's it.
I get my moms on FaceTime. I talk to moms for about 30 minutes.
Gotta
we have
do
coffee
that.
or tea together. And then I get to work. And then I'm going all day.
There's one thing I want to ask, which I've been asking a lot of the artists, but I haven't recently. Legacy. How important is legacy to you?
I think above anything else, I want people to know me for making quality music that wasn't just, just doing it because I could. I want people to realize that, I have people around me that I trust. I trust their ear, and I don't have no yes people around me. I love realness.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to tell me if the record's whack. I always ask them, I'll be like, this is my start. What do you think? It got
Sure.
legs? You know what I
Yep.
mean? Does it
Yep.
have
I do.
legs? And if they don't say, yeah, this is hot, keep working. I want people to know me for quality and really taking and putting a lot of, integrity into my music, into my product. So I want it to live way past my time. And so it's very important to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I tell you what, I think it'll sit right up there with um, the luminaries that we already
Appreciate that.
have. I think so, honestly, I think so.
Thank
You're
you.
well on your way. All of your music, your library is growing. I mean, you already have a lot of music, and I'm talking about you guys. If you haven't gone to Spotify to check them out, I'm talking about in the millions
Yeah.
streams. I mean, that says something
Yeah.
about an artist. That's
It's
why
a
I wanted to
blessing.
ask about legacy, because when you
Yeah.
leave something behind, of course, you want it to be a quality product left behind,
Right.
and then your impact,
Hmm.
listener.
Right.
What's that? What comes to mind for you when you are putting something out there and it's being released? I, as a consumer, and others are about to hear it. What's going through your mind? What say you of what you want us to hear? What is it?
A lot of angst. I'm anxious, and it's like I wonder if they got like
I know, right? I
you know what? I
know.
should have put another tone on that harmony. I should have, what I
Man,
mean?
it's gone now,
Yeah, it's
okay? It's
gone. That's the Virgo in me. But
yeah.
ultimately, when I put it out there, I do some weird stuff. I'll actually go back to the record and listen to it as a consumer and be
Yeah.
like, is this as good as I think it is? Is it?
Man.
But that's just me. It's the little weird things. I do a lot of little weird things like that. I'll leave a record alone for a couple of days and come back to it and listen
You
as a
should.
consumer. Yeah.
You should.
And just see what it sounds like and what it feels like. And yeah, it's my mind is always talking. I'm always coming up with something.
Oh, and speaking of which, and I know we're about to go,
Yeah.
but when you talked about letting it like breathe
Mm-hmm.
and then coming back to revisit it, do you go back to your prior music ever to
Mm-hmm.
listen so
Yeah.
that you know where you're going or what you need to emphasize on? Do you ever go back and listen?
Absolutely. I think
You?
coming up, and this is what I can say to a lot of young artists out there, do
Yeah.
your research, because we know already from history
Yeah.
what works and what people love.
True.
And things that people will never get tired of. There's a straight soul feel, there's a pop feel,
Yes.
there's all country feel, there's blues, all kinds of stuff that we have witnessed and it's been there all throughout
Mhm.
this time while we've been growing as an artist and as people in our everyday lives. We know it works. So do your research. And that's what I do. I go back and listen to the records that I've done before, that people that I've gotten a lot of love on, and still try to keep those qualities and some touch of a lot of the old Noel to still
Right.
keep me grounded, so I don't lose a lot of those folks, because there always has to be something in music. It could be different. People could say this doesn't really sound like it, but there's something in there that I'm holding on to that grounds me in that music or that new track or that new feel for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Boy. Well, I tell you, you guys are going to um, be totally distracted from the world when you start picking up Gourdin's music and listening. Noel has
Thank you.
some great, great music.
Thank you.
I've noticed a lot of Southern soul, though,
Mhm.
throughout this latest LP.
Mhm.
Intentional, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I grew up on that music. My folks,
Yeah.
like I said, were from Mississippi. So once you
Right.
hit Highway 65 and 59 down south there, that's what you're
Yes.
hearing, right?
That's what you yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
You're hearing a lot of that Marvin Cease. You're hearing a lot of
I know,
those record
right?
Bobby Blue Bland. You're hearing
True.
all of that kind of stuff.
Johnny Taylor,
Johnny Taylor,
blues,
Tyrone
though,
Davis. Yep.
Tyrone Davis,
Yep.
yeah.
Clarence Carter. You're hearing all of that stuff. So that's what I grew up on as well. And it's
Mhm.
crazy that Marv says it all the time. You were the one that started doing Southern soul music with the river.
Oh, I
So,
can hear his voice. That's
yeah.
funny that you.
So yeah, so it's just kind of a natural thing for me to dip my toe into
Sure.
those waters, and I'm having fun doing it, and I'm learning from a lot of the greats in the industry right now. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, continue to do that because I see just an upward trajectory
thank you,
of all things concerning Noel Gourdin.
thank you.
NoelGourdinMusic.com. That is
Yes.
where the hub is, and
Hmm.
that's where you can find out where he's going to be. He could be in a city near you. You never know.
That's right.
So make sure that you go by and you take a look at his tour schedule. You have a music store on your.
I do not have a music store on my site yet, but it's coming.
It's coming.
We got things working on
Yeah.
that. That's been a work in progress.
Well,
But
we've
yeah,
got the digital streaming platform.
yeah, and I'm gonna be working on getting those. We have plans to get vinyl, all of that stuff, CDs. I
Yay!
love I
I
love
do.
physicals. So
Yep.
I come from that school. So we gonna
Yep.
have some physicals.
Yeah. So we
Yeah,
can see credits and
that's right.
studios it was recorded in and
All of that stuff.
all of that. All of
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
love it. I do.
T-shirts, all of that stuff. People,
Uh,
they want to hold on to
put
stuff. You know.
put their hands to something, and I
That's right.
totally agree.
Absolutely.
Noel, it has been just a pleasure, just a
Oh,
nonstop, right on the money conversation.
yeah, it was
And
fun.
just, you've been dropping some really great nuggets along the way for indie artists.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's been food for our souls.
Well,
And
thank you.
I appreciate you coming by. Listen, so now you're family.
Yes, that's
Okay.
beautiful. Love
So
it. Love it.
so, when something comes, I actually keep my eyes peeled. But if there's ever something impactful that you need for us to get out there, we want to know about it.
All
So
right now.
contact
You
us.
don't be trying to, shut off the lights when I start knocking on the
I
screen door.
wouldn't dare I wouldn't do
Nah, that's what's
that.
up. That's what's up. I
Oh my
appreciate you,
God. Oh,
Sabrina. Thank you so
absolutely.
much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And thank you for doing what you're doing for artists such as myself and many, many others that, are underappreciated in this climate. So I really appreciate you.
Well, it is always a pleasure. Always. And everybody, we want to thank you for coming and
My
spending
pleasure.
this hour with us
My pleasure.
and listening to Clinic and the love of music and the
Yeah.
new things that are coming for Noel. Thank you guys so, 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 so much. Couldn't do it without you. Oh, and by the way, Noel, we had a person who lives in the UK. She
Okay.
stays up every night. Either she stays up or she sets her clock because she's six
Wow.
hours ahead of us, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And she comes on faithfully every Monday
That's
to
love.
support the show. So she's been chiming in. Make sure you go back into the chat and hit up everybody and
Hmm.
thank on them if you don't mind. Well,
Of course.
yeah,
Of
absolutely.
course.
Well, everybody, we got to wrap it up. Look, remember what you make happen for others, God will make it happen for you. I love y'all so much. We'll see you again next week. Take care.